been a while since I've talked to you people, whoever's watching this. It's been, actually I was going back and looking, it's been about almost a year. I think March was the last time I updated. I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time, but it is a long time, I guess. There's reasons that I'm not going to go into that why I haven't recorded, but I'm here and I'm back for now. I've felt like I've needed to talk for a while. I've been actually doing a lot of inner work on myself, and I think that's important to know, that we are all constantly growing and expanding. That's the key. Hopefully you are, that you're not just standing still in one spot. Change is good. There's nothing wrong with change. Challenge is good. There's nothing wrong with challenges. And as I'm sure you are all aware of, we are going through some very challenging times at the moment, and we have for a while. And I've been wanting to get on here actually and talk to you people, but there's been a multiple array of reasons why I haven't. But I guess the important thing is that I'm here now, and I do have some information that I'd like to get out or talk about. And I thought before we did that, though, that I'm not going to do a meditation or anything like that, but I think just to kind of maybe, set the mood, or, set the energy, the right energy level, that I would just like to do some breathing techniques with you guys if you're interested. If not, that's okay, you can just fast forward, but this will only take a second, literally. So before we get started, before I talk to you, why don't we go ahead and do this? So I want you to close your eyes, and I just want you to kind of relax for a minute. So we're going to do that by breathing. So I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, and then breathe out through your mouth. And when you do that, I want you to fully breathe in, meaning breathe in as much as you can. And as you're breathing in, I want you to breathe in like you're breathing air into your belly. So breathe in through your belly, and then breathe out fully. And let's do that 3 times. One more time. Okay. And whoever did that, you may or may not notice that it does, believe it or not, there's been multiple studies on it. There's many people out there. I think, William Hoff, I think that's his name. He's got a channel, and his whole channel is dedicated on breathing, and breathing is important. It actually, if you think about it, I may have talked about this, I'm not sure. There's probably going to be some things that I'm going to bring up that I may or may not have talked about in the past, but if I bring them up, it's because I think it's important that they be brought up at this moment in time. So a lot of the information that I give out, it's not really information for a set time in our life, that it's hopefully it's something that you can use as a tool to take it with you and use it whenever you need to use it, like a tool. That's what a tool is. So there's some things that I'm going to be talking about that, like I just mentioned, I may or may not have talked about in the past, but I think that they're important. So if I've talked about them before, bear with me, but you may have never watched any of my other videos, so this may be new information to you. But breathing is it actually sets your state of mind in a way. Actually, I shouldn't say it sets your state of mind, but it is a part of your state of mind. Meaning, think about this: if you're stressed out, if you're afraid, what happens to your heart rate? It actually goes up, so it increases, and so your breathing actually increases, and your breath becomes more shallow, and then when you're sleeping, or I guess notice this the next time. Maybe next time you wake up, you probably won't remember this, but when you wake up, notice how calm that your breathing is. So like when you first, literally open your eyes in the morning when you get out of bed, or even when you're just laying there and you open your eyes and you come out of your dream state or whatever, notice your breathing, that you're very calm. And at that point in the day, you're probably at your most calm, unless you're doing techniques, to get yourself back into that state. But that's probably the most calm that you are, during your waking hours for that day. And notice your breathing. Your breathing is going to be very deep and, very, long and very smooth and unrestricted. And as you go through life, or as you go through your day, things may or may not happen that are definitely going to be affecting your breathing. So that was a long explanation as to why I didn't probably need to go into all that. That was a long explanation as to why I think what I'm going to be doing is maybe doing some breathing techniques before I actually start, the video, to try to set, the correct energy that I'd like you to have when you watch these videos. What I wanted to talk about mostly is the things that are happening right now. I'm not going to go into politics or anything like that. I try not to talk about that. I'm not a political person, so I guess even if I wanted to talk about politics, I would probably not be the best person to talk to about it, because I'm really not that knowledgeable in it. But what I am knowledgeable in is the consciousness around me. And when I say the consciousness around me, I'm talking about the state of mind. One of the things that one of the things that I try to practice as a daily practice for me is being aware of my environment, which, includes everybody. One of my understandings is, I think that we're all connected in one way or another. I think that, there's this thing called consciousness, and we are like transmitters and receivers. When you think of something, that you're transmitting a thought that goes out. And the best way to describe that, I think, is when you talk about, when you love something or you love somebody, people can feel that. If you go into a room and you're angry, people can feel that. If people enjoy your company and they're enlightened by you being around, you can feel that. So these are all just small examples of how I think that we transmit and receive energy. Scientists they're aware of, and actually I think that there are current studies going on about our physical beings are actually made up of energetic frequency. So we're energy. So this energy, it's not just inside of your body. It actually does go out. It goes out of your body. So you have to look at it that way. So anyhow, I'm getting off the subject. What I was going to say earlier was that I'm very aware of the energies around me right now, which, it's not a good thing. There's a lot of people that may or may not, and this is the other thing, some of these things that I'm saying, they may not be for everybody, and it may not make sense to you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Obviously, what I'm saying is only my understanding, so we all have our own understandings. But what I'm finding is that a lot of people are very afraid, and there's a lot of people that are angry or uncertain or not sure what's happening, and there's a lot of people, what I've noticed, that are looking for answers or trying to make sense of what's happening or what's going on in their world. This is going to be kind of a long, I can't go over everything that I want to go over in this one video. I'm speaking from the heart. I don't have a script. I don't have a teleprompter, so I'm going to do the best that I can to try to get this information out as I see fit. What I can tell you, the most important thing that I can tell you today is, and I've talked about this in the past, I know that for a fact, is to not be afraid. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, when I went back and looked at the videos that I did upload, which is not that many, but the ones that I did upload, I did talk about fear, and this was before the whole COVID thing started. I had no idea that COVID was going to be around, but at that time I felt like it was important to talk about fear. And I see now that we need to learn to control our fear, because what we don't understand is that everybody, I'm not special. I'm no more special than anybody. I'm not any more special than you or whoever's watching this. That we're all, when I say I'm not special, what I mean is that, okay, maybe I am special, but you know what? No, not even maybe. I am special. But you're special also. Whoever's watching this, whoever hears this, you are just as special as me. So we all have the same capabilities. We all have the same abilities, whatever you want to call it. So I don't think anybody is better than anybody else as far as abilities go. Now, what we do with those abilities, that's obviously a different story. But one of the reasons why I'm here is to hopefully try to help everybody become the best that they can be. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm here. I mean, I think that my life purpose, honestly, is to show and help as many people as I can realize how special and how powerful that you are. There's people out there that don't need this information, and that's okay. This information is not for them. It's for the people that don't know. And what I'm noticing is that it seems like a lot more people are getting more and more aware. I don't like to use the word awake, because I think a lot of people out there do use the word awake. I think that, I don't want to say that's a negative word, but I think, using the term aware is a little better, maybe a little less harsh than saying, hey, you're not awake, you're asleep. And I do hear that a lot. And okay, so I want to go into this other subject, and I'm probably going to, after this subject, I'm probably going to end this video, but there will be more. There's no way that I could cover everything that I want to talk about in this one video. You have to be conscious of what you are letting into your environment. So what I mean by that is we all have the choice, the power, whatever you want to call it, however you want to look at it, to create our own reality. And I think for a long time that a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, I think a lot of people were under the impression that our reality was given to us. And I don't even mean consciously, because if you say that, consciously, that, oh, hey, I was consciously letting something dictate my reality, then that's kind of implies that, you're a zombie robot. And I don't think that's the case. I think that unconsciously that we have been told what our reality is, when what we don't realize is that we are the ones that create our reality. Somebody told me, they made a statement to me, this wasn't too long ago, and I kind of knew this, but the way that they put it to me, it was very cool. And as a matter of fact, this person, I'm probably going to be, we're going to be having a discussion on a podcast that I'm going to have coming up. But what they told me is that when this person was a little girl, and so we're talking, 30 plus years ago at least, their grandparents, I think it was her grandma, she said, told her that, you have the universe inside of you, or you have the world inside of you. And I thought, wow, what a powerful message. That is so cool. And that grandma, I mean, what a knowledgeable person she had to be, to know that, and then to pass that information on to her grandbaby. And then her grandbaby, grows up, becomes an adult, and that was one of the things that she remembered. and I think that statement that was made really holds true as to what's going on in the world around you right now. Because I had a video on giving your power away, and that was one of the things that I was talking about. I don't know, I'd have to go back and listen to it, but that's why, to me, it's so important that you don't give your power away. And that doesn't mean that you're being selfish or you don't care about anybody else. What that means is that you are more than you think, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So, and what I'm seeing, I guess what I'm trying to say is what I'm seeing around us right now, what I'm seeing play out in our world, in our reality, even though we have our own, I know that's weird, but what I'm seeing play out is that people are getting their reality from somewhere else. And I guess I question, here's the thing, I guess, here's my point that I want to make, is that it's okay, actually, it's more than okay to be aware or to have knowledge of all that's going on around you. To me, that is power. Good or bad, it's good to have knowledge. There's nothing wrong with that. You cannot, I think there's some people out there, and I don't want to talk negatively about anybody, I'm not, because we all have our understanding, and I respect that. But what I'm saying is that there are certain people out there that will tell you, well, just ignore it and, don't feed into it. Okay, I do agree with that part about don't feeding into it. Okay, I agree with that. But to just ignore it and, to think to yourself, well, if I just ignore it, then, it'll go away. Well, no, that's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. But what I'm saying is that we do have a choice to use our own compass, or to learn, this is a big word, discernment. That's huge, discernment. And I really would like you to think about that word. And it's very, very, very powerful, like more powerful than you know. And this, to me, it's one of the keys into, finding your own true happiness, I believe. It's my understanding. I don't like to use the word I believe, and one of my teachers told me why, and I won't tell you about that now. When I say teachers, I think we all have teachers, and I'm not talking about, being in a school environment, in a school building, college, university, elementary school, whatever. And I'm not talking about teachers in that sense. I'm talking about one of the things that I think goes on in everybody's lifetime is you have people that come in and out of your life, and they're literally teachers. They're there to teach you something. And what's interesting is if you notice that they'll come in at certain times of your life, and whether you know it or not consciously, they are teaching you something. And then probably when they're done teaching you what you need to know, then they move on, or you guys separate for whatever reason or other. And that's how life is. That's what I've noticed. But anyhow, one of my teachers told me about that word, and so I'm kind of careful when I use that word believe. And so anyhow, I'm kind of getting off the subject. So my point today is I really, really, really would like you to think about that word discernment, and what does that mean? So where are you getting your reality from? Who is telling you your reality, or how are you deciding what your reality is? Do you watch the mainstream news? Is that who tells you who your reality is? I didn't even want to use that word because I don't want to limit it to one thing, but I'm only bringing that up because I see what's happening in our world right now. And what I'm doing, like I mentioned before, I'm not a political person, but I'm looking at something from an energetic level. I know that sounds weird, but how does it make me feel? I'm not saying I'm perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But if I expose myself to something, whether that be, media, television, whatever, environment, people, whatever that is, I really am learning to try to figure out, how does that make me feel? How is that making me feel? Is it making me feel bad or whatever? So that's when I'm learning to know that, okay, for whatever reason or other, this influence in my life is making me feel uncomfortable, or I don't feel right for whatever reason or other. That's my point, is discernment. And so I guess I'm learning that, okay, so obviously there's a reason that, my inner being, or whatever you want to call it, my senses are telling me that there's something not right here. So, okay, at least me acknowledging or realizing that there's something not right about this, it gives me my power back to know that, okay, it's okay to hear this information, but it doesn't mean that I have to allow it to come into my reality. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I think I'm going to stop there for now. I've got a lot more to say. You have no idea. I mean, obviously it's been, like I said, almost a year. I think March, I said, was the last time I uploaded. And I have so much information. And I have, I've learned a lot over the last, 8 or 9 months, however long it's been. Like I said, I'm just like everybody else. I've been working on myself, and I've been doing inner work and trying to expand, which I think we all need to do, working on new techniques and different things, and just trying to be the best that I can be, which is what I want for you guys. So hopefully by me sharing my experiences with you guys and my knowledge, that it may help you. And if it just helps one person, that's great. And maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But this is what I feel like I'm being called to do right now. And in the end, I'm going to leave you with this. Just remember that we are all human. I don't care what your political party is, or what color your skin is, or where you're from, that we are all human. If we could remember that, I think we would live in a different world. So I don't care what color your skin is, what you look like, what your background is, or whatever. If you're hurting me or hurting other people, then it really doesn't matter what color you are, or what kind of a human being you are. Does that make sense? So I just want you to remember that. And just remember also that it doesn't do any good you cannot cure hate with hate. You cannot cure fear with fear. You cannot cure ignorance with ignorance. Does that make sense? So I see, a lot of fighting going on around me right now. And I wasn't going to go into politics, and I was going to end this video, but I have to get this out real quick, and then I'll end the video. That I look around me and I see these people, literally wanting to kill each other. And there's so much hate. And I think I used to watch it because, I have to observe. It's important to observe to see what's going on around you. But then I realized that it was making me feel really uncomfortable and not good inside. So I'm not, I haven't completely tuned it out. But what I've learned to do is to realize that this is, futile, for these people to be, showing so much anger and hate towards each other. Where is that going to get them? It's not going to get them anywhere. And so the key, my goal, which is what I'm working on, and hopefully you guys will work on it with me, is for us to be able to rise above that. Because like when I mentioned earlier about the transmission part, if we can learn to share that energy that we have and not feed into it, then it is my understanding that we can change this world, whether you know it or not. So with that, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for coming to watch this if you have come to watch it. And there will be more information down the road, and I will see you next time. And so I don't know how many different languages to say goodbye in, but ciao, adios, au revoir, namaste. May peace and love be with all of you, and we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this, and the world is going to be good. You'll see. Okay, so talk to you next time.